Welcome back, everyone. If you're thinking about your financial future, and let's be honest, who isn't, then making sure your retirement savings are secure is probably way up there on your list.
Absolutely. It's a key concern for so many people right now.
Exactly. So today, we're doing a deep dive into a specific company, Augusta Precious Metals. We're working from a bulletin published by Gold IRA companies,
Right. That's our source material for this discussion.
and our goal here is pretty straightforward. Pull out the key details about Augusta. Are they legit? What do they actually do? Basically help you figure out if they should be on your radar for retirement planning.
Precisely. We'll break down what this bulletin says, point out the important stuff, and really get under the hood of how Augusta operates in the gold and silver IRA space.
Okay, great. So first things first, what does Augusta Precious Metals actually do? What's their core business?
Well, they were founded back in 2012, and their specialty, really, is helping folks like our listeners incorporate gold and silver into their retirement accounts, their IRAs.
Hmm.
The main idea is to help people diversify, protect their savings using physical precious metals.
So we're talking actual physical gold and silver, not like paper assets or stocks in mining companies.
Exactly. Tangible assets, physical gold and silver coins and bars, and specifically ones that meet the pretty strict IRS requirements for being held inside an IRA.
Oh, okay. And it sounds like they do more than just sell you the metal. They help with the whole IRA setup part.
Oh, absolutely. That's a big piece of it. They guide customers through setting up what's called a self-directed IRA.
A self-directed IRA.
Right.
That's different from my regular 401k, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Most standard retirement accounts hold stocks, bonds, mutual funds.
Hmm.
A self-directed IRA gives you more control, letting you hold alternative assets, like physical gold and silver. It's kind of the essential vehicle for holding metals in a tax-advantaged way for retirement.
Gotcha.
And Augusta helps with that setup. Plus, they guide you in choosing which specific metals are, eligible for the IRA and also fit your own goals.
Makes sense. Now, this bulletin we're looking at, it also mentions some general signs of a legitimate precious metals company. What should people be looking out for, generally speaking?
Right. The bulletin lays out a few key things.
Mm-hmm.
Compliance is huge,
Mm-hmm.
making sure the company follows all the rules and regulations.
Okay.
Transparency is another big one. Are they upfront about pricing, about fees,
Mm.
no hidden costs?
Yeah, nobody likes surprises there.
Definitely not.
Mm-mm.
Then there's strong customer service, a real commitment to educating customers, helping them understand the investment.
Not just selling it to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And finally, just being ready and willing to guide you through the whole process, which, let's face it, can feel a bit complicated sometimes.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so those are the benchmarks. How does Augusta stack up against those, according to this bulletin? It sounds pretty positive overall.
It does, yeah. The bulletin highlights several points that speak to their credibility. Let's start with reputation and ratings.
Mhm.
They apparently have a flawless record with both the Better Business Bureau, the BBB, and the Business Consumer Alliance, or BCA. The bulletin states 0 complaints registered with either.
Hold on, 0 complaints with both of them. That's pretty unusual, isn't it?
It really stands out, yeah.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they've got the highest possible ratings from both organizations, an A+ from the BBB and a AAA from the BCA.
Wow, A+ and AAA.
The bulletin really emphasizes that these consistent high marks suggest a strong focus on customer satisfaction and ethical business practices. Good signs for potential investors.
Okay, so the watchdog ratings are top tier. What about recognition from, say, the financial world itself? Any industry awards or accolades mentioned?
Yes, quite a few, actually. And this is interesting because it shows broader recognition. Money Magazine, for instance, named them Best Overall Gold IRA Company. Not just once, but in both 2023 and 2024.
Okay, Money Magazine, that's a known name. 2 years running.
Right. And Investopedia recognized them, too, specifically for most transparent pricing, again, for both 2023 and 2024.
Transparent pricing, that links back to what you said earlier about legitimacy markers.
Exactly. And then there's TrustLink, which gave them their Best of award for 6 consecutive years. So it's not just a one-off mention. It looks like a pattern of positive recognition from respected sources.
6 years from TrustLink. Okay, that paints a pretty consistent picture. Now, compliance was another point. How does the bulletin say Augusta ensures they're, operating by the book?
They seem to take it very seriously. They've got an actual in-house compliance section. And interestingly, it's overseen by an independent adjudicator.
Independent, so not just someone internal marking their own homework.
Seems that way. It adds a layer of objective oversight. Plus, they apparently undergo regular voluntary compliance inspections by outside firms.
Voluntary third-party checks. Okay, that does suggest they're proactive about it.
Yeah, it signals a commitment to high standards, beyond just what's required.
What about guarantees? Anything like that mentioned? Guarantees can offer investors some peace of mind.
Good question. Yes, the bulletin points out a few. There's a 7-day money-back guarantee, no questions asked. Which is nice, gives you a little window to reconsider if needed.
A cooling off period.
Right. Then there's a 100% satisfaction guarantee. It even mentions an option to switch providers if you're not fully satisfied.
Really? That's quite confident.
It is. And finally, they offer what's called a highest buyback guarantee. So when you eventually decide to sell your metals,
They guarantee a competitive price to buy them back.
that's the idea, yes.
Mm.
It suggests they stand behind the products and want to facilitate the whole life cycle of the investment, including the exit. Taken together, these guarantees seem aimed at reducing investor risk and uncertainty.
That buyback guarantee is particularly interesting. It's not just about getting the metals in, but
Oh.
potentially getting them out, too.
Exactly. It implies a longer-term view of the client relationship.
Now, education was another key point for legitimacy. The bulletin mentions their expertise, specifically highlighting their director of education.
Yes, and this is a significant point in the bulletin. They put a lot of weight on customer education, empowering people. Their director of education is Devlin Steele,
Devlin Steele.
and he's described as a Harvard-trained economist. So you've got someone with a serious analytical background leading their educational efforts.
Harvard-trained economist. That definitely lends credibility.
He apparently hosts these free one-on-one webinars too, which the bulletin notes as a big part of their customer service approach. It suggests they really want clients to be informed.
Right, making informed decisions, not just following a sales pitch. And what about transparency overall? How clear are they about things?
Transparency is presented as a core value for them. They state they aim for clarity on services and fees. The bulletin also kind of implies that you can gauge transparency by looking at customer experiences.
Like testimonials and reviews.
Yeah. Positive reviews often reflect that people felt things were clear and upfront. The bulletin even references a specific customer video sharing a positive experience. So it's their stated policy, seemingly backed up by customer feedback mentioned in the source.
Okay, so let's shift gears slightly. Thinking about actually investing with them. The bulletin calls this section Investing with Confidence. What's the process look like based on this?
Well, it circles back to their main focus, gold and silver IRAs, helping you hold physical metal in that self-directed retirement account. They offer the IRS-approved coins and bars, help with the IRA setup itself, and guide you on selecting the metals. It's presented as a pretty comprehensive step-by-step service, designed to make it less daunting, perhaps.
And for our listeners thinking about this, what advice does the bulletin give on doing their own homework, their due diligence?
This is crucial, and the bulletin offers some practical steps. First, dig into Augusta's website. Then read testimonials and reviews, see what other actual customers are saying.
Get the real-world perspective.
Exactly. Look at their educational materials, too. And importantly, verify their claims. Check independent sources. Compare them to other companies in the market. Don't just take one source's word for it.
Solid advice for any major decision, really. Gather info from multiple places. Does the bulletin warn against any common mistakes people might make when considering precious metals?
It does mention a few key pitfalls. Number one, don't skip the research phase. Really understand what you're investing in.
Makes sense.
Number two, the classic advice, don't invest more than you can realistically afford to lose.
Always important.
And third, remember diversification. Precious metals should probably be part of a strategy, not the whole thing. Keep things balanced.
Good reminders all around. Okay, so let's try to synthesize this. Based purely on this bulletin we've been discussing, what are the main takeaways on why Augusta Precious Metals seems legit?
Well, pulling it all together from the bulletin's perspective, it's their focus on compliance and transparency, that really impressive zero complaints record, plus the top BBB and BCA ratings.
Right, those stand out.
The consistent industry awards and recognition, the peace of mind from those guarantees they offer, and then that strong emphasis on education and personalized customer support. All these pieces together build the picture presented in the bulletin.
The bulletin also has a short FAQ section, probably hitting questions listeners might have right off the bat. Let's cover a couple. First, what makes Augusta Precious Metals stand out? What's the bulletin's answer?
It points to a combination. Their specialization in gold and silver IRAs, the heavy focus on education, that personalized service approach, and, again, the positive reviews and high ratings they consistently get.
Okay. And another big one people might wonder about. Has Augusta Precious Metals been involved in any lawsuits? What does the source say?
According to the bulletin, there's no public record of any lawsuits involving Augusta Precious Metals. That absence is presented as another positive sign, suggesting ethical operations.
No lawsuits is definitely reassuring. And if someone listening is intrigued, how does the bulletin describe the process for getting started with them?
It sounds pretty straightforward. It starts with talking to one of their specialists. You discuss your goals, they explain the
A
options.
one-on-one conversation.
Right. Then they help with the paperwork, guide you on selecting the right metals for your IRA, considering IRS rules and your preferences, and assist with setting up the actual self-directed IRA account. They position their team as support throughout that process.
And the bulletin provides contact info if people want to take that step.
Yes, it lists their website and a phone number,
Hmm.
855-386-4202. Makes it easy to reach out.
Okay. And just quickly, before we wrap up on the bulletin itself, it mentions the author, Doug Young. What's his background? Why should we consider his perspective?
The bulletin presents Doug Young as someone with deep experience over 20 years in financial investing, commodity trading, and specifically precious metals. He's positioned as an authority who has spent more than a decade evaluating gold IRA companies.
So the analysis comes from someone with relevant industry experience.
That's the context provided, yes.
Yeah.
His expertise is framed as the basis for the evaluation in the bulletin.
All right. So bringing our deep dive into this gold IRA company's bulletin to a close, what's the big picture here regarding Augusta Precious Metals?
Based solely on the information laid out in this specific bulletin, Augusta Precious Metals comes across as a legitimate, reputable player focused on gold and silver IRAs. You know, the strong ratings, zero complaints, industry recognition, compliance focus, transparency claims, educational push-pull, all points towards a trustworthy operation within this market, according to the source.
And this is the important, but our dive into this one bulletin isn't the end of the story for you, the listener.
Absolutely not. This information is a starting point. The crucial next step is always your own thorough independent research. Check out Augusta yourself, definitely compare them with other companies out there,
Right.
and really make sure that investing in a gold or silver IRA makes sense for your specific financial situation, your goals, your tolerance for risk, and how it fits into your overall retirement plan.
So here's something to think about as we finish up. How could precious metals, maybe through an IRA like the ones Augusta offers, potentially fit into your long-term financial strategy? And after hearing all this, what questions are still lingering for you? What would you want to ask a specialist if you took that next step? Mull that over.
Good questions to consider.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.